Yo, what's up? We're back. We're so back. I'm Glasseyed or Morgan. For those of you who don't know me or are new to the channel, I'm an artist. I make metalcore mixed with like new metal and shoegaze kind of stuff, all kinds of stuff, but that would be the general vibe. And today I'm going to continue what I've been doing for the last little while, which is continue breaking down all of the tracks on my most recent EP, Death Wish. It's fully self-produced, so I'm going to break down session for one of the tracks here. This track is called Divorce It. It's got a real kind of 90s, early 2000s new metal kind of feel to it, mixed with a lot of the more modern stuff. So think bands like Split Chain or
Bodyweb
or maybe like Soul Blind, that kind of thing. So it sounds like this. You get the vibes, kind of catchy, kind of shoegazy, very early 2000s. And there's some heavier sections and breakdowns and stuff in here as well. So I'm gonna jump straight in and just go from the start. We get this like intro filtered rendition of the chorus, which sounds like this. I find it's kind of fun to start tracks off with the chorus, just kind of gives people a bit of a teaser of what they're going to get later, I guess. So nothing completely insane going on here. We've got this guitar line here, which I am using archetype Gojira for. It's then really heavily filtered with EQ8, you can see here. Vocals wise, I can solo this for you here. Again, really heavily filtered. It's also auto-tuned and Foreman shifted with Ableton's auto shift here, which is such an amazing plugin. It's basically Ableton's stock version of auto-tune. We've also got it running through some Soundtoys Decapitator just to distort it a little bit. And then up here, we have the drums. What this is a bounced down version of the drum beat from the chorus that you'll hear later on. Pretty heavily filtered again. You can see here we've got a little EQ spike just in the mids to give it a bit more mid presence. And then they're really heavily bit crushed with JST Pixelator, which is basically just a downsampling plugin. It does something very similar to Ableton's Redux, which you could use as well for this. Moving on from the intro then, we get the main riff. Not too many elements going on. We've got drums, bass, double tracked guitar. We've got a little bit of a lead guitar line, and then we have this synth playing over the top. For the drums and bass, if you want a more in-depth review of what I'm doing here, check out one of my older videos because I go through both of these in a bit more detail. But to go through it really quickly, for the drums, I'm using my standard chain. Get Good drums here for the bass sound. Layered on top of that, I've got some third-party kick and snare samples. Everything in Get Good drums is also routed out of Contact into separate tracks in Ableton, which you can see here, which just helps me control it and process everything individually. Bass-wise, sometimes I will program bass, and for that I would use Gin Bass 2, which is an amazing plugin. This time though, I have recorded it, so the bass I use is, I'll show it to you here, this guy. It is a really old Squire J bass, which has been hand painted by my friend. So it looks incredible, but it sounds like shit, to be honest with you. Yeah, so a lot of the time when I'm not getting the sound I need out of that guy, I will use programmed bass instead. But here I've opted for recorded bass. So the processing, we can see down here, it's being parallel processed. So the bass being split into two channels here. This one is dealing with the low end, and then this one obviously dealing with the mids and the high end. Both of them are running through Neural DSP Dark Glass. So on the lows, you can see there's no distortion happening here on the Dark Glass pedal, but on the highs, it is quite heavily distorted. Kind of helps balance the sub frequencies and that upper mid and high end bite. There's also some multi-band compression happening here. Bass instruments can generally deal with quite a lot of compression and limiting. It can really help tame and smooth them out. Guitar wise, then I'll go through the rhythm guitars quickly here. So we are using archetype Gojira for the main rhythm tone. brought the gain down a little bit here, mids, trebles boosted a little bit. We've got none of the pedals turned on, so it's actually quite close to stock, this guitar tone. This is then mirrored on the left and right tracks. If I solo the guitars for you here, you can hear what that sounds like. So quite full sounding with a lot of high-end presence as well. Then we have this lead guitar tone. So you can hear it's playing the exact same part, but the difference is there is a huge amount of chorus on this one. We've got a little bit of overdrive happening, and we've got chorus with the mix turned up very, very high here. So it's giving this like swirling, warbly effect. A lot of early 2000s, late 90s tracks in this vein, this kind of nu metal sound, used chorus pretty liberally. So that was the inspiration for this addition here. The last thing we have is this synth sound on top here. Really, really simple pluck sound. It's happening in Serum. A lot of the time I will sound design my own synth sounds in Serum or Wavetable or whatever. But other times I find it really, really handy just to click through presets when you're in that kind of creative flow, I guess, rather than taking time out of the creative process to like sit and nerd out over sound design. Sometimes that's not really what you want in the moment. Interestingly as well, this intro section is the only time that this synth pluck sound happens. I originally had it playing in the chorus as well, but it ended up not working harmonically with the vocal melody that you'll hear later. After this intro then, we move straight into the verse. So we've got a real stripped back bass only thing happening here for the first half of the verse. Vocally, the production is very similar to what I usually do. We have the vocal triple tracked, so one in the center, one on the left, one on the right. The center is the loudest and the left and the right are pulled down quite a bit. Gain reduction, which is my favorite vocal plugin. It's a really, really aggressive compressor from Joey Sturgis. Really helps like just add a lot of body and kind of bite aggression to any vocal track, especially good for harsh vocals, screamed vocals. Some de-essing happening, and then we've got waves tuned for pitch correction, because God knows I am not always hitting the pitches I want to be. Then we've got some slapback delay happening from Ableton's stock echo effect here as well. Halfway through the verse, then we get the re-entrance of this lead guitar playing some chords with that super, super chorusy tone. Just add something new halfway through the verse to keep the song driving along. This verse crashes straight then into the first chorus of the track. So this first chorus is basically mirroring essentially everything that was happening in that intro main riff section. Drums, bass, guitars, lead guitar in on top. Plucked synth melody, as I said before, is now gone. In its place, we have this like Hot One synth. Just a really, really basic sound playing the root note of the key of the song. This just helps add a sense of momentum in the chorus, but it doesn't get in the way harmonically of anything else that's happening. So it's a really, really easy technique that I use all the time. I'm gonna solo the chorus vocals for you here as well. So you can hear there's quite a few layers going on here. Center, left and right, triple tracked. Then underneath that, we've got some harmonies happening. So all of those just kind of stack together to give the chorus vocal this kind of really big, hard-hitting energy. Moving on from the chorus, we get this second verse, which doesn't really have anything notable to talk about, to be honest, but it sounds like this. This moves straight into the build-up section, which is where the track gets a bit interesting here. Drums, bass, rhythm guitars, lead guitar coming in on top with some octaves here. Vocally, we've got some louder screams happening, so I'll show you the processing for those. Again, JST gain reduction, offering some really heavy compression. Shep's Omnichannel, which is a bit of a workhorse go-to vocal plugin that I use all the time. Adding some saturation, some more compression, and then some de-essing as well. An EQ just to filter out the low end and the super high end. Soundtoys Decapitator then adding a lot of distortion. We have the drive up on full and the mix just pulled back a little bit here. So this has the effect of making that vocal just a little bit more dirty and chaotic, and it also adds back a little bit of that high-end presence that we're losing from the EQ here. And then we've just got some basic slapback delay as well. This moves into the first kind of super heavy section of the song, which is this breakdown. So this same rhythm guitar tone is the primary driving force in this breakdown. We also have this big sub drop that happens here at the start of the breakdown. If I solo it, you'll hear. I absolutely love these. It's a very classic old school Korn move, but then it's also a very textbook 2010s scene core metalcore move as well. In the second half of this breakdown then, we get this kind of tapping section on the lead guitar, which sounds like this. Again, this just adds a sense of momentum and chaos on top of the heaviness that you're hearing here. After this breakdown, we get another chorus, which is basically identical to the first. And then immediately after this chorus, we get another super heavy breakdown outro section. Notable here, we've got 2 extra rhythm guitar tracks happening. So the guitars for this outro are now quad tracked. We're using Fortin Nameless, and they're also pitch shifted. So the original pitch of the guitar is being blended with a full octave down. And then all of the guitars together. So you can hear they're just adding this low end heft. This kind of across the bar line guitar riff then moves into the final section, which is this almost beat down hardcore type riff that we get here. Super fun. My favorite way to end things, really heavy. There's not that much else to talk about production wise. It's basically the same guitar tones, drum tones, bass tones that are happening everywhere else in the track. So yeah, that's the whole song. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If there was anything that I went by too fast that you're interested in, that you want me to talk more about, just let me know. I can either reply to your comments or make another video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you haven't listened to the EP and you like what you heard, there'll be a link in the description. And yeah, have a good day or night whenever you're watching this.